She eats food. She likes people.
Well, I've heard rumors that she's pretty awesome.
Hi, I'm Lauren Conway. I'm Lauren Conway.
I'm Lauren Conway.
And this is an interview. My current walk with Christ isn't really an in-your-face, everyone knows I'm a Christian kind of a thing. I mean, if you asked me, I would tell you I am a Christian, but I find myself kind of more on the silent side of things. I pray a lot, especially when I'm walking to and from class. I spend a lot of time outside, and I find myself noticing things like trees and flowers and just the overall beauty of God and His creation. And it's really nice to just, take all that in and sit back and just enjoy it. I feel like I'm in a really good place with God at the moment, especially around this time of the year during Lent. I find myself realizing that the things that I thought were really important in my life, they don't really hold meaning in the long run. They're just passing things. This past year also, I've learned one of my biggest lessons is that things don't always work out the way I planned them to. I set my mind on one thing and I think, wow, this is the track I'm going on, this is what I'm going to do, and it turns out that it's not going to work out that way, and you just have to be accepting and go with it. I've done 3 mission trips. The first one was to inner city LA to work with homeless people and underprivileged children, and I remember one particular moment. There was an old woman who was getting really upset about things, and I just took a deep breath and I realized that things, weren't going to work out if everyone was complaining and making a big deal out of things, that, everyone just had to remain calm and just do their job and everything would work out. I also learned something really, really big in my life was that a lot of the people I interacted with, they were happy with not much, with nothing at all, really. And it was a strange concept to me. I grew up in a middle class home. I always had toys and and movies to watch and things to play with. And I'd see these kids running around, and I'd realize, when they go home, they might not even have a bed to sleep in. They might sleep on the floor, or they might not even have their own room. And it was weird to me to just see all of that, but it definitely taught me that, material things aren't that important. That trip also taught me a big lesson about how to be more of an extroverted person, to be outgoing and friendly, because up until then I really was very, very closed off and didn't say much to people, was very, very quiet, and after that trip I found myself being a lot more vocal about my feelings and just, and more overall outgoing person. The second and third mission trip were to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi to help rebuild after Hurricane Katrina. And one was over spring break and one was over summer break, but during the same year, same time period, I suppose. And definitely learned a whole lot there. Once again, the whole lesson about material things not being that important in life was brought up. I also learned about selflessness and just doing work for the sheer, joy it's going to bring somebody, not doing something for my benefit, but for others. My call to ministry didn't really come in some, revelation in a dream or anything like that. It's just a feeling that I get when I'm around junior high schoolers. I just feel like that's where I'm supposed to be. This is the work I'm supposed to be doing. In my experience, that's really the way that God talks to me, is through other people and the feelings I get from them. As far as ministry not always working out the way we want it to work out, it's, again, all about what God has planned and not what we have planned. Last year, I had applied for a job, and in the youth ministry field, actually, and I thought to myself, this is exactly the track that I want to be on. This, it's in youth ministry, that's what I want to do. This is obviously where I'm going to go with my life, and so I'm guaranteed to get this job, right? And it wound up working out that someone else got the job, and I was left without a plan because I had put all my thought and effort into this. And so I quickly, had to scramble around to different places and find a job, and I kept thinking to myself, why why did this happen? I thought, I was supposed to be a youth minister, so wouldn't this job work its way into there and be good experience? And I realized that that's not what God had planned for me. That I was supposed to be somewhere else, maybe it was someone that I met over the summer, or maybe it was, some lesson that I learned that hasn't really become evident yet, but I'm absolutely 100% sure that, I wasn't supposed to have that job, and what I wound up doing was where I was supposed to be. I haven't really made any set commitments for the summer. Really, if I get this internship, this is my number one priority, and everything else, I guess, will work out around that. If a kid or really anyone were to come up to me and tell me maybe they were using drugs or having sex, I would first, and foremost, let them know that they can confide in me and I am a safe source and they can tell me anything. And depending on the severity of the situation, I mean, if it's a personal thing and it's not going to hurt anybody, or it's not, it doesn't put them in immediate danger, I would encourage them to maybe talk with me and most definitely absolutely pray about it. And, if the situation seems more severe, I might tell them to seek out counseling, and I would help them to do that. And if it's an immediate thing and it's detrimental to everyone involved and it's a life or death situation, I would most definitely contact a professional in the field and get them the help that they need. My favorite cartoon character is most definitely Batman. When I was a kid, I remember watching all of the Batman shows and, waking up really early on Saturday morning to catch the new episodes of whatever Batman series happened to be on. And I really, really enjoyed his character because he doesn't have any superpowers or anything like that. He doesn't have like ice breath or x-ray vision or super strength or anything like that. He relies purely on intelligence and intellect to get things done, and that was really cool to me. Person I look up to most in my life is definitely my father. He's a great leader, and he's intelligent and a very, very strong Christian, and you wouldn't know it just by looking at him. He just looks like any regular guy, and he's not in your face about his faith. He's kind of reserved about it, and I think that's really admirable, to be so strong in your faith and not be telling everyone, hey, I'm a Christian, hey, you should be a Christian too, it's awesome, blah blah blah, let me spit a bunch of facts at you. He's very much on the academic side of the Bible, which I think is really cool too, because that's my field of study. I'm a religion major, and so that's really important to me, is to study all of that kind of stuff. And one of the most important lessons my dad is always teaching me, because for some reason I always forget, but it's that God is bigger than all of my problems, and he has a plan, and he's going to sort it out, and all I have to do is have faith and pray and just, keep on going. I relate very well to junior high students. I was a total outcast in middle school. I didn't have very many friends. I was awkward. I had terrible hair, and I was the weird girl. And I can relate to a lot of the kids in the junior high. The one thing I realized through working with junior high kids is I can be an actual friend to them. I enjoy hanging out with them and going and doing stuff, seeing movies, and I feel really at home doing that. I don't feel awkward at all. And I've been in their shoes so many times. I know what they're going through, and I think it's really comforting for them to have someone older and not really more experienced, but, just someone they can relate to and talk to.
I'm a student at the University of Florida. I'm a religion major.
I have gym shoes, but I don't normally use them.
I attend Chapel House, where I act as resident chef, usher, and coordinator of the Chapel House Hooligan Soccer Club. I love the outdoors! Intern.